Each week at It's Happening Out, we ask our host about what is important to them, but there's a twist. It must be in just 30 seconds, or you hear this bell. And we call this segment What's on Your Mind, and it's sponsored by Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ plus pizza of choice. What's on our mind is the deep dish Detroit-style pizza, or perhaps the cauliflower thin crust. Jets Pizza has been with It's Happening Out for 4 years, and their Bigger is Better campaign captured our attention. And of course, they're talking about their slices of pizza. What did you think I was talking about? Jets supports a huge variety of LGBTQ plus events and nonprofits. With more than 400 locations nationwide, they are considered one of the best franchise opportunities in America. And this is why Jets Pizza is our sponsor of What's on My Mind. So let's get right to it. Raj, what's on your mind this week?
Well, Beyonce kicked off her Renaissance tour here in North America. She had 2 performances in New York this past weekend, and she's going to be here in Miami in 2 weeks, and I'm super excited to be going to the show. I can't wait. I go to a lot of shows. Faye and I go to a lot of concerts as well, and this is probably the one that I'm most anticipating for this year.
Why is Beyonce a big deal?
I mean, we grew up with Beyonce. We grew up with Destiny's Child, with their music. She's one of the artists where it's like our generation has really grown up with her and stuck with her, and her music is just transforming.
Quick question relates to that. You talk about generational association with LGBT. Mm-hmm. A lot of people would say it was Barbra Streisand in oldest generations that are still alive. Then it became Cher. And then it became Madonna. Beyonce is in that class.
I would say so. I mean, she does reference the LGBTQ plus community a lot in her music and performances and events and stuff like that. Especially in this album, she talks about her uncle, things like that. So she makes a lot of those references,
incorporating all the houses into her music and stuff like that.
Community.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Excellent. That's what's on your mind. And Faye, what's on your mind?
Folks, my wife, the Cuban, has done it again, folks, and that's what's on my mind. So Mega Millions was like $300 billion or something like that last week. So I sent her to Publix and I said, buy some lotto tickets and get me some scratch-offs, right? So she comes home and brings the scratch-offs scratched off. She goes, you didn't win. What in the living F? I sent you to go buy me the scratch-offs. Half of it is you scratching it off herself. So she scratched off all the tickets with my money and said, you didn't win. That's it. That's what's on my mind. If somebody sends you to go get scratch-offs, you don't scratch them off. You bring them back exactly how you bought them.
Wait.
Is that what they do in Cuba?
Maybe.
Wait. I happen to know you, and I happen to know the Cuban.
Ask her tomorrow.
And I happen to know that you work at Happening Out. So it probably really wasn't your money in the first place. Oh. All right, there we go.
Does that make it any less bad, though?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Elimination.
I did tell her use her own money.
That was just uppercut. I love how you say that.
Right, exactly. All right, and elimination, what's on your mind this?
So I want to kind of bring it down and kind of be serious a little bit. On my mind is O'Shea Sibley, the 28-year-old who was voguing at a gas station, who was killed.
Stabbed.
Who was stabbed. He was stabbed. He was killed. Because of the fact that he was voguing, to Beyonce's music. And so, I used to model. We're learning a lot on this paper today. And I used to model.
More than I ever wanted.
Oh my gosh. And so I could never vogue. Voguing was not my thing. So I want us to start a whole new voguing challenge where we all come together and do a whole bunch of voguing sets.
At gas stations.
Push it. At gas stations and push it. And that leads me to what's happening. So on Friday, August 4th, the community in Brooklyn are doing a memorial ball in his honor to recognize at that mobile gas station in Brooklyn, an event, that whole memorial ball to push back on the community and say, you know what, you can't steal our joy, you can't steal our thunder. And so what I want to all people out there, if you're in Brooklyn, please go support. And if you're locally, teach me how to vogue. Let's start a whole new pandemic where we just do a whole bunch of voguing videos and shove it into the right-wing space and say, guess what? You cannot steal our joy. We're here. We're house. We're going to stay.
Faye and I tonight on Queer News Tonight, we talked about this story very specifically, and I will just echo what Faye and I talked about. Beyonce, come on out. Help us in this story and propel this story because the boy died doing your music and what he loved. Beautiful. I love that. In What's on My Mind. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.